Welcome to our conversation around the 5-day easy cleanse, also known as the 5-day nutritive cleanse. We're really excited to share what we are learning about the cleanse for those of us who have already done it, and those of us who have led teams through it. So we're going to share this information, and you can share this with other people as a recording. And we're excited for you to see the same kind of results that we're seeing. So with that, I'm going to hand it to Christy. And here we go.
Hi, everybody. I'm Christy Collins. I live up north of Boston. I'm not in a blue room. I am in a blue room. I'm at the rock climbing gym with my son. He's 13, turned 14 yesterday. He's climbing, and I thought I would have to do this from my car, but I found this little yoga room. So hopefully people won't come in and start class, but we'll see. I'm really excited to be here talking to you guys about the 5-day cleanse because our team has actually led hundreds of people through it. I think it's a phenomenal way to kind of jump into cleansing, especially if you're new. And also, even if you've done more extreme cleanses in the past, it's just a great way to kind of it's very manageable. It's just this like bite-sized chunk, 5 days, everybody can do it. I like to tell people too, you can ramp it up or down. But I really want to start off talking a little bit about why cleansing and then why this 5-day cleanse. And then we'll talk about why cleanse, why the 5-day cleanse. We'll talk a little bit about what the cleanse is and how to do it. And then I'm going to give you the tips that I am giving my team to set them up for success. We are starting the cleanse on Monday, the 16th. So this whole week is being our prep week, because I believe that the prep week can make or break you. So I'm also going to give you some tips for while you're in the cleanse, not just the food you're eating, but how other things can really, really make it a great experience or make it not so great. So the first thing I want to do is let me just share my screen, because once I get going, I will totally forget to do that. So let me move this over. And hold on one sec. Okay. So we're talking about the 5-day cleanse. And I mean, like, just looking at like all these beautiful foods with fruits and veggies just makes me excited to do it. I don't know about you, but it's kind of that time. I mean, some people will say wait until spring to cleanse. And yes, that is the time when our bodies are a little more receptive to cleansing, because spring is the time of the liver, and the liver is what really helps us cleanse. But I think there's benefit to doing cleanses seasonally and quarterly throughout the year. And so we'll talk a little bit, especially after coming off the holiday season. I mean, how many people was I hopefully not the only one that ate things you wouldn't normally eat? We have this recipe called coffee toffee bars. They're a 1950s Pillsbury like bake-off competition winner. It's like 2 sticks of butter. It's brown sugar. They're phenomenal, but they're like crack. You can't stop eating them once you do. So I may or may not have had a few of those, and some wine that I don't usually have. And so anyway, it's a really good time to cleanse. So there are a couple of things you can do differently when cleansing in the winter though, and we'll talk a little bit about those. So let's talk about why cleansing. I think a lot of people sometimes come across cleansing after they get sick or after they've gotten illness. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, shoot, like my body's really clear that it needs some help. And then they'll cleanse. I'm a bigger fan of helping you get into a proactive mindset where you're thinking about cleansing regularly. We wash our car all the time, right? It gets dirty, we wash it. We clean out the dryer lint, thing. I don't know if anybody still has like, some people don't have these, but like the old vacuum cleaner bags or like the vacuum cleaner containers, it gets filled with lint and stuff and dust and hairs, and we clean it out, right? Imagine what would happen if you vacuumed your house for 10, 20 years and never emptied the filter or the container or the bag. It's not going to work very well. It might turn on, but it's not going to be sucking stuff up. So think about your body that same way. Your body will continue to work as hard as it can for you. It will continue to get up. It will get you through your day. But if you don't cleanse it, if you don't empty the filters, if you don't give it the rest that it needs, it's just going to start over time working a little less and less effectively, just like, a machine or a car or anything would. So these are a couple signs that you might need a cleanse, right? So I'm not going to read these. Everybody can read them. I will share my story. Growing up, we ate Taco Bell so often that they knew my order when I went to Taco Bell. Our fanciest meal was Arby's. I never ate at a restaurant other than fast food until I was in college. So It doesn't, even though I've been eating healthy now for like 20 plus years, I have a history of 5 years of my life, 27 years of my life where I ate like crap. And so I think about that and I think, okay, I still have some cleansing to do from that. And I know a lot of you on the call, you've probably, like, how many of you have already done your very best to clean up your home? You've got Thieves products in there now. You've got, you've cleaned out your shampoos and your detergents and all these things. And you're like, but I live a clean lifestyle now. Sure, you do now, but how long ago did you start that cleansing process in your home? And I think now, like, we've done a pretty good job of cleaning our home out and stuff. And I eat really clean now, except for the coffee toffee bars. At holiday time, but I'm still out in the world. I'm still outside breathing in whatever the heck is falling from those chemtrails in the sky. I just walked past my car today to scrape off the snow and I got a huge whiff of exhaust. I'm still pumping gas and breathing in the gas fumes. I'm still touching paper, like those receipts from the stores. I'm still walking in my neighborhood, smelling people's, the dryer sheets and I'm, the pesticides. We're exposed to it. No matter what we do in our own homes, we can be gatekeepers of our homes, but we're not gatekeepers of the world and we're getting exposed to toxins regularly. So being able to clean out the body, I want you to really think, if you decide to do this cleanse, a lot of people go into a cleanse thinking of deprivation, like, oh, shoot, I'm not going to be able to eat this. And oh, I'm going to have to do that. And oh, I might be hungry and poor me, I can't go out to eat. No. Switch your mindset around it. I want you to think about what a gift I'm giving my body. What a blessing I am doing right now for my liver to give it a little bit of a rest. Think of it like that. So let me move on. This is just, again, you guys can read through this. These are just some reasons why cleansing is really good for you. What we're trying to do ultimately is give the body a rest from digesting so much food and so many different kinds of foods and different combinations, so that the liver and the kidneys, all of our detox organs can really go to work instead on clearing stuff out, clearing out the older stuff in the intestines, clearing our blood, like just trying to get rid of all the stuff we have accumulated. And so that's what I think of with the cleansing. It's like I'm just giving my body a break, kind of like, when we go to sleep at night. The body isn't really, it's not walking, it's not working out, it's not digesting, it's just able to kind of go through the cleansing process at night. So let's do that on a larger scale for a couple of days. So let's talk about why the 5-day cleanse. The 5-day cleanse is great because, again, it's 5 days. Anybody can do anything for 5 days. So you might do it Monday through Friday, or you might say, I'd like to do it over the weekend and then just a couple work days. You can pick any time you want, but you just want it to be 5 consecutive days. I really like it because you're eating throughout the day. So you're not fasting, you're not starving yourself. You're not going to have to go through willpower. You can still do your job. You can still take care of your kids. You can still run your Young Living business. You can still do all these things while you're on the cleanse, and you can kind of ramp it up or down based on where you're starting from. Some of you might need a little more food than what's suggested in the schedule. That's fine. Just add in more of the good food. Some of you, if you've been doing cleanses for a long time, you may not even need some of the little snacks that are included throughout the day, but you're going to be eating 6 times a day. So that's pretty cool. You're not going to feel hungry, and your blood sugar is also going to be really stable. So here are the things that you need from Young Living. These are the bare minimums. You're going to need Ninja Red. You're going to need at least a 2-pack of Ninja Red. You're going to need a bottle of Digest and Cleanse, and you're going to need a container of Balance Complete. Now, some people don't do dairy, so they are doing Power Meal instead. But the original formula from Gary for this 5-day cleanse comes with Balance Complete. And what you're going to be doing with these is in the morning, noon, and night. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're going to start off with a Digest and Cleanse. This is a supplement. It's got oils in it. It's so good for the belly. It's so good for the digestive system. It's going to soothe things. It's going to kind of ease the way with your intestines. And also, if you've ever done a cleanse before, how many of you have done a cleanse, you've gotten really bloated or gassy or constipated, or your belly just doesn't feel good because it's churning through stuff? The Digest and Cleanse will really help. So you're going to take that about 30 to 60 minutes before breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Your breakfast, lunch, and dinner is going to consist of 2 to 4 ounces of Ninja Red. Yes, You get to drink so much Ninja on this cleanse. Like, imagine if normally I drink, like a 2-pack, right? Like a 2-ounce pack. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I get to have at least 3 of those a day. That's so fun, right? Why the Ninja? The Ninja is going to help with antioxidants. The Ninja is going to help keep your blood sugar stable. It's going to give you those the minerals, the vitamin C, the whole foods vitamin C, all of the energy that Ninja provides. And also, I find that it really gives like that little bit of sweetness. So you almost feel like you have that little liquid dessert throughout the day, right? So you're not going to be getting sugar cravings as much because you're going to be having that sweet Ninja, sweet Ninja 3 times a day. You're also going to have it breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can call it a shake, you can call it a smoothie, whatever makes you feel better, but you're going to be taking the Balance Complete protein powder and you're going to be mixing that with either water or a plant-based milk, like an almond milk or whatever, whichever kind of milk you like. Not dairy milk, not cow's milk, because that's very mucousy. And on this cleanse, we're trying to keep the body as light as possible. But you could mix it with almond milk. You could put it in the blender. You can add oils to it if you want every day, like try a different vitality oil. Like you can do cinnamon in it. You could do, lemon or orange or citrus fresh or grapefruit. You can kind of mix it up throughout the week if you want it to taste like a different shake every single day. But that's your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you freak out about the thought of having to drink something liquid and like, wait a minute, I'm not going to be chewing something, I don't know, you can actually chew it. In fact, I recommend that you chew your smoothies. A couple of reasons. One, it's going to make your body think you're eating food. And sometimes when we just drink things down, the body, and if we're doing something in a rushed manner, the body doesn't realize we've eaten. So it like gets hungry again quickly. But if you sit and you chew your smoothie, even though there's nothing really to chew, it's kind of like signals the body, oh, I'm eating now. So there's just something that happens like that. And I think too, just the process of chewing helps stimulate digestion a little more. So it's just a tip for you. Maybe you don't do it outside of this cleanse, but try it for this cleanse and see what happens. Okay, so then what are you doing for the rest of the day? Well, this is a little map of what it looks like. And don't be freaked out because this looks very complicated, but it's not. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is your digest and cleanse, your smoothie with your Balance Complete or your power meal, your Ninja Red, and then of course you're going to be drinking water too. Then in between those meals, you're having snacks, like little mini meals with whole foods. So I'll show you on the next page what some of those would be, but these, fruits, vegetables, maybe some nuts, just very simple foods that are going to be really easy for the body to digest. So that's kind of your plan. Your breakfast, lunch, and dinner shakes and Ninja Red, Balance and Digest and Cleanse. And in between, you're having your snacks, along with lots of water. A lot of water, aiming for about 1 gallon of water during the day with this cleanse, because think of your body like a toilet. So if you have a toilet and you use the toilet, now you've got this stuff sitting in the toilet and you try to flush the toilet, but there's no water in the toilet, it doesn't go anywhere, right? So our bodies, think of it, your body is like that toilet. So you need the water to be flushing these foods through your we want to flush them through the intestines, and we want to hydrate the body incredibly well too. So these are a couple of the foods that you could pick. And so what I suggest, I'm going to show you a quote on the next page from one of our cleanse participants from a couple of years ago. And she said, I really wish, she said, when I do this the next time, I'm going to make sure that I make my list. I go to the store and I make sure I buy plenty of snacks and I have them all prepped so that when I do the cleanse, I have enough food, healthy food. She said, I ran out partway through and then I didn't really want to go to the store. And so I was just started reaching for things that weren't really on the cleanse, that weren't really very good for me. So she said, have your stuff ready to go. So you can see here, there's so many different options for you, right? There's so many different options. You can have a different thing every day if you want. You could follow the plan from Young Living to the T if you just like to be told what to do, or you can say, I'm just going to have everything available and I'm going to pick the one that my body wants that day. One of the things I will say, you'll see on here, I added a couple other things that are not on the cleanse schedule because our team is doing it in the winter. So in the winter, the body is not really it doesn't gravitate towards cold foods, right? Because it's freezing outside where I am, at least. I don't know how it is with you, but it's snowing, it's cold. So the body doesn't really necessarily always want raw vegetables or fresh fruit or cold things. So you may find that sipping on some vegetable broth or having some miso soup or lightly steaming your vegetables, even lightly steaming your fruits, like some pears or some apples, not only will make them sometimes more digestible, but also will give you that warmth that you need. And I know Allie was drinking her sleek tea, and that's so good to do, because if you're getting the sleek tea, you're getting some of the metabolism support from the tea. The sleek tea really helps with cravings, and then you've got something warm to sip on, right? And so that can be really, really soothing this time of the year. Okay, this is my last suggestion is how to set yourself up for success. You do not want to go into your cleanse like the night before having your last supper, where you're like, okay, I'm going to eat the steak and the French fries and have my wine and have my desserts and all my things because I can't have them for 5 days. That's really, if you start your cleanse the next day after that, your body is going to be like, what the heck just happened? Like, it's too much of a shock. You want to really ease into the cleanse. So take the week before to really get yourself ready, get yourself prepared. This means increasing your water intake. So maybe you're sitting there freaking out because I told you to drink a gallon of water a day during the cleanse because you're only drinking maybe 3 cups. Okay, so use the time before the cleanse to start gradually upping your water intake so you're not freaking your bowels out with and your kidneys with all that water. 2, increase your bowel movements. Remember that toilet? Like, we want to be moving things out. The way we move the toxins out during a cleanse is we can sweat them out, we can pee them out, we can poop them out, or the lymph system can kind of help. We can move the lymph system through exercise and movement, dry brushing, all of that to get it out. So if you are not pooping, you're eliminating one of those major pathways of elimination. And if the toxins aren't eliminated in the cleanse, they'll just recirculate. They'll just kind of hang back around. And sometimes you can feel worse during the cleanse because now you've stirred up toxins that have been stored in your fat cells or stored places. And now all of a sudden they're in your system again. So get pooping. So you may need to do a little bit of a comfort tone protocol in the week leading up. And I'm not going to get into detail on what that is, but just gradually increasing the comfort tone supplement a little bit each day until you are having at least one regular good formed bowel movement. Ideally, we want to be going 2 to 3 times a day. The other thing you could do is ICP daily. You could start putting that into your water. It's a great powder fiber supplement that helps keep the waste moving through the intestines. Also, just start decreasing your sugar, start decreasing your processed foods, start decreasing your caffeine, because those are not really going to be a part of the cleanse. And if you go cold turkey, sometimes you can be pretty miserable. I can't tell you how many people have said to me, oh, caffeine does not affect me at all. Caffeine doesn't affect me. And I'm like, okay. And then like the first day of the cleanse, they don't have their coffee and they're like, oh my gosh, like, this is awful. I feel terrible, right? It's caffeine. Sometimes you can have it for so long, you do not realize how much it affects you until you get rid of it. And then you're like, okay, maybe it does affect me and I just didn't really realize it. So just start, if you have 4 cups of coffee a day, just start working your way down, have like 3.5, 3, just ease your way out. Maybe go to black tea. Again, if cutting all caffeine out would literally freak your body out, either give yourself longer time to prepare for it, or just be realistic and say, you know what, I'm still going to have like a cup of coffee during my cleanse, but here's all the other good stuff and ways that I'm helping my body kind of chill out and rest, and I'm helping my body detox. So we're not looking for perfection here. Doing a cleanse with a few things in there that aren't ideal is still better than not doing a cleanse at all. So just like know yourself, know where you're starting from, and do the cleanse for you, right? I have a lot of people always ask me like, is this okay, Christy? Is this right? Is this wrong? And I'm like, what do you think? Like, is this better than what you were doing before? Are you going to stop the cleanse if I tell you you can't have coffee, or you're not even going to consider it? You really want to just think about what will set me up for success based on where I'm starting from, and just do your best shot. And you could do the cleanse again the next week and do a little more hardcore if you want, or like a month later. There's not a competition with anybody. And I mentioned before, prepping all your products and your snacks ahead of time. Since we're doing a cleanse to get rid of toxins, I really, really recommend that you use the Thieves Fruit and Veggie Wash to wash all of your produce, okay? So that you're not eating any kind of pesticides or anything that's on there, wax, we just don't need that. So let's get the produce as clean as possible. This was my team member, Amanda. She said, having done the cleanses last spring, my one regret was not having all the snacks purchased ahead of time. I ended up cheating a couple times with snacks that weren't approved, and this time I won't be doing it. So these are a couple detox symptoms you might experience. And, these will be different for each person. Some people will feel none of these and will feel amazing. And some people will feel, wow, I didn't feel great day 1, but I felt great day 3. Sometimes these kind of things come up on, day 3, day 4. Just know that this is okay. This is the body. Again, stuff is detoxing out. Sometimes things come out through the skin. Sometimes you start releasing them through your sinuses. Just know it. And again, we're going to tend to our body really well. And this is my last slide. These are a couple of things that you can do to really support yourself. So you are letting your body do some extra work. So why not rest a little bit this week, right? When you do your cleanse, give yourself a little time, maybe to take a nap in the afternoon. Go to bed early. Like, don't try to power through life as normal. You will be able to on this cleanse, but why not go to bed early? Why not take a detox bath? That would really help support, right? With some Epsom salts and baking soda, some of your oils, just maybe some dry brushing, watch a funny movie, spend time with friends, get a massage, maybe just set yourself up so that this week feels like a blessing to you, and like a special week, and honor that you're doing something different. So you may need to put a little bit of extra nourishment in that's not food related, because oftentimes what happens on these cleanses is we realize how dependent we are on food for our pleasure. And when the food is removed from the equation and we're not going to get the chocolate or the chips or the whatever it is, the wine, whatever it is, it's really helpful to have something there in its place. So I encourage you to make a little cleanse nourishment menu where you make a list of all the fun things you're going to do to nourish yourself that don't involve food. So when you do hit that moment where you're like, oh, this sucks, I really want chocolate, you can look at your list on the fridge and be like, okay, but I'm going to take a walk instead, or I'm going to go watch that show that I wanted to watch, or whatever it is that you have that would be fun to you. And last but not least, please make your I want to quit plan. This could be a simple, because you will probably hit a point where you're like, I'm already 3 days in. Do I really need to do 5 days? I kind of want to quit right now, but don't do it. There's a reason Gary made it 5 days, right? So maybe this is, I'm going to call my friends. Like, I'm going to call Tina when I want to quit, and I'm going to be like, Tina, I want to quit. And she's going to be like, no, you can do this, right? Or maybe you're like, oh, I usually do things by myself, but maybe you want to get into your team's Facebook group or the Telegram group where they're hosting a group cleanse. And you might want to just go in there and say, hey, I want to quit. And then you'll have 20,000 people saying, don't quit, you can do this, right? Or maybe it's just when I want to quit, I'm just going to go out for a walk. Even if it's a 5-minute walk, just to change my scenery, move my body, get outside. But having that ahead of time is going to empower you. So when that thought or that feeling or that urge comes up, you'll be like, okay, Christy said it was coming. So I know what to do here. I'm going to see this through to the end. And that's another piece of it too, is just committing to yourself. Commit to yourself that you're going to do this and that you deserve it. And be intentional about what you want to get out of it before you go into it too. So that's those are my best tips after hosting this many, many times. And I hope this was helpful. I'll take a peek at the chat to see if anybody had any questions. Well, everybody shares. I think we have some testimonials now from people who've been through the chat.
I love it. And so I have just a couple things. As you were talking, I've done the 5-day cleanse 11 times. And because I love the way I feel. And so I wrote, as you were talking, I was like, oh, that was good. I didn't ever think about that. But I made a few more notes just since. So the first thing I thought was, you talked so good. I'm going to share my testimonials in just a second. You talked so good about preparing for your own food. As a mom, one of the things that's hardest for me is that I still have to cook food for others and not, or So I would just add to that, think through your family's menu for the next 5 days ahead of time. Do not have them make your favorite meal ever, ever. Because I mean, you can be pretty like untempted if they're having something you don't really even care for, right? Or something maybe you wouldn't even eat in general ahead of time. So one of my things that I think of, one of my hardest 5-day cleanses ever, we had like a blizzard come through. And so for 2 days, my kids made like chocolate chip cookies. And I mean, they were even like the healthier version I like, you right? But I couldn't eat them. I was on a cleanse. You do not need that kind of temptation. So okay, so Chrissy just put, she's trying to get her husband to do the cleanse with her this time around. I think that's fantabulous. That 1 year with the cookies, I think I had 8 kids, 9 kids at home. Brian and I tend to do the cleanse next to each other, back to back, or almost back to back. We look at the calendar because then one of us can be in charge of cooking while the other one is cleansing. And we give total grace in that time. In fact, this is a post from last April that I did. Brian did his May 1st. I started May 16th. And we just did them. And so that way, just know who's supposed to be cooking. Is it you, and you have to prepare food for your family? Have that ready so you don't have any extra temptation. Maybe it's even freezer meals or whatever. I would just say that. Also, one of the other funniest posts I found when I went through this was, you want to watch for things that are big events in your life, or big, like for me, Brian had planned a romantic day away, like a date night. Okay, that wasn't very fun. So I get kind of cranky. Did you talk about getting cranky during the cleanse? I get kind of cranky. So there is no romantic helping during the cleanse. So watch your dates when you schedule yours. With the irony there is that our anniversary is May 10th. So you can see he did his May 1st. I did my May 16th. Clearly, I finally had learned a little bit about that. I love that you talked about the coffee. I have gone from drinking, like the most horrible thing in my entire home was like fake creamer. And if like, that's how I drank my coffee, right? I started intermittent fasting 4 or 5 years ago, and I went cold turkey black coffee, just to black coffee. And I do love coffee because I still have 7 kids at home, and that's kind of my day. That's how I get going. I love that you said that about giving yourself grace, because I would just agree with that so much. The last cleanse I did no coffee because it's in our chat thread, and I felt cleaner in my brain. So I want to just give you a couple of the really big testimonials that have really impacted my life. And I'm going to also encourage you to hang around after the recording. I have a couple really, really fun ones. But my very first time out of the gate, and this isn't necessarily just about weight loss, I'll get to my favorite testimonial, but my very first time out of the gate, I lost 11 pounds. And now I want you to know, I don't always lose 11 pounds, or maybe I would be on 5-day cleanses very often. But the last time I did it, I lost 4.5 pounds. And so you can see that I'm still like putting stuff in that intestinal tract that needs to be cleansed out. The clearness of the thing. So anyway, last time I did this was May 16th of last year. I'm so glad we're going to be doing it together. One of the things that I wrote in my feedback was, it wasn't necessarily about the weight loss. I lost 4.5 pounds. It was the feelings in my joints, that it had just cleaned up my joints so much. I felt so much better. I love the energy aspect. And I love that you don't necessarily just lose pounds, but sometimes you can really lose inches, because that excess stuff seems. So I lost 6 inches. I only lost 4.5 pounds. So I like to measure, and no, I don't know, because it's not a sacrifice to do the cleanse. It's a good, easy, gentle cleanse. It's not, but I like to see like the results of it. And I want to encourage you, put your weight down, measure some places. I usually measure around my chest, around my upper arms, around my waist, and then around my hips and my thighs. And so it's just kind of a fun way. As far as the energy that comes from it, I love that. I personally do notice that I can get through days 1 and 2 really easy. So when I look at my food, I know that day 3 is usually my hardest day. And so when I'm looking at that food, I want to put my favorite things. The blueberries are, like, or the pear, and I'm going to be looking forward because I know what I love. So just that's one of my tips. I also have done this a couple of times with men. And so I want you to know that if you do have a partner or a spouse, they may well lose significantly more weight than you. One of my guy friends, I know, like, there's just that, like, okay. So one of my guy friends that did this in the last go round did lose 21 pounds in 5 days. Now he's a bigger guy, and it was okay. My husband traditionally loses. I know those men. So, but don't be discouraged. My friend in the last go round lost only 2 pounds. And I said to her, she was so discouraged. And I said to her, think it what, like, we're years into our Young Living journey. We've cleaned up our homes. We've cleansed before. And how good is it that you only had that much that needed to be gently cleansed out of your body? So I want to encourage you. It's not just about the weight. It's not just about the energy. It's not just about the fact that you might sleep better and your joints might feel better and your skin might look better. But we're making, like, life changes for us and our things. So I'm going to pass that on. I know that there's more testimonials. I have a few comments I'm going to put in the chat box. So, and I'll be watching for questions.
Hey guys, love all the things that Christy had shared, and thank you, Amanda, learning so much. So I did the cleanse with my husband. I surprised him with it. Hi, good morning. Guess what we're starting today? It was a little unfair. And he can hear me, he's here, but we per my plan, decided we were going to do the 5-day nutritive cleanse between Christmas and New Year's, because we had that trip to Salt Lake and I needed to just get my mindset in a different place on eating better. We had cookie swaps. We had all the traditional, like, really rich, sweet food through the holidays. And I think there's something about becoming a grandmother that the baton gets passed to you for hosting all the holiday events. And so this was grandmother's house, and this is where everybody came for the pie and the cake and the cookies and all that. And I did not disappoint, but I did eat and gained a lot of weight. So anyway, I love, when I'm on plan, I love eating a very plant-based heavy diet with lean meat, a lot of water. So this helped in that because I could incorporate those raw vegetables as a snack. Well, let me just say, I did not go hungry. My husband said I nearly starved to death. I also decided we were going to do no coffee. And so I would say that if you're going to fast something like that you've had in the morning, to be sure and plan for those naps like Christy was talking about, because a lot of us get just like that achy flu-ish headache symptom from going off of caffeine and sugar, especially at the same time. And I chose Power Meal over the Balanced Complete, mainly because I had it on hand, right? Now, here's where I didn't plan well, and I should have had Christy in my head prior to this, but you will go through one whole bag per person or one canister of Balanced Complete per person during the 5-day cleanse. So if you choose to do it longer than 5 days, plan ahead with your orders. Also, cash in some points, because this is definitely replacing your meals, so you can take your grocery budget and your loyalty points and transfer over to this cleanse. I love that part. Plus, if you qualified in November, a lot of us got multiple bottles of Digest and Cleanse, so you may already have that on hand. And of course, we had that great Ningxia Red sale, so a lot of us have a lot of Ningxia Red on hand. So I checked all the boxes. I didn't have to order anything. But a couple of the things that we did along with the cleanse, in the morning, we would start with a room temperature glass of water with a half of a fresh lemon squeezed into the water. I chose to do that because as a practitioner, I knew that my husband and I had become acidic, and we needed to kind of raise that pH level up. and removing the coffee helped, but also that lemon in the water helped as well. So we would drink that in the morning. We would take our digest and cleanse. We would have 2 to 4 ounces of Ningxia, and then we had our shake. Now I have a Vitamix here at home, but I have one of those little portable NutriBullet type things, and that's what I took on my trip to Salt Lake. Even though I had finished the cleanse, I love the shakes, and I love being able to just grab that and go when I only other choices I have are maybe a free hotel breakfast that's not healthy. And so we are not non-dairy. Even though this is dairy free, I use whole organic milk because that's what we use. You can use coconut milk, almond milk, whatever non-dairy milk replacement you choose. Just make sure it's the unsweetened kind, and always, of course, be looking for organic and non-GMO sources. And so I would put the milk in the Vitamix, and I use frozen berries. Aldi has a great selection of frozen fruit that is organic. And so we did strawberries one day and blueberries the next, and we would just throw it in there with it. And then I did a couple of drops of lemon oil just because that's what I like. And then we blended it up. So I didn't add any ice to the shake. You don't have to even add frozen fruit to it. This and liquid is all you need, and you don't even need a power mixer for it. You just shake it up. One tip that I know that I have tried and it works is mix up your shake the night before. And then when you shake it up the next day, it is so much more smoother. You have no powder texture at all in your shake. And it's just yummy. Of course, refrigerate it if you choose to do that. That's very convenient, especially if you're on the go, you're leaving the home, you're going to a class or work, or you're traveling. You can take this 5-day cleanse with you. Now, in between, we did the raw vegetables. We did the hummus. I make a hummus here and love it. And so we did some raw squash, and we did raw celery and peppers and just some non-sweet produce. I did not do any bananas during the cleanse because I feel like those are pretty sweet, and I was trying to keep our blood sugar normalized with the Ningxia Red. So just watch what you're really kind of using. So like if you're choosing to eat an apple, but you want some almond butter or something with apple, don't reach for the Nutella or the chocolate flavored almond butter. Use the basic almond butter or peanut butter or something like that you're choosing to do. And then, we had the little round rice crackers from Trader Joe's. Use those a couple of times just to have a crunch. Like Christy was saying, you want something that you can kind of chew and have a little bit of a crunch. That stimulates those digestive enzymes in your saliva, and it helps to digest the food. We did continue with Master Formula. You don't have to, but that's just part of our everyday thing. I also continued with my Super B. And I will say, if you are supporting your urinary bladder system in any way on a regular basis, say with like K and B, please continue that, because as Christy noted, your pathways of elimination need to stay open, and you're eliminating as much or more toxins through your urine as you are your fecal matter. So keep that regimen up. The lemon in the water will help with that. But also, she had said a gallon of water. A lot of us tend to drink half of our body weight in ounces of water. Don't chug that water, please. Drink like 4 to 6 ounces every 30 minutes. That will pace you throughout the day, and that will help your body absorb it at the cellular level without having to feel bloated and yucky and, oh, I think I'm going to hurl all of this water that I drank, right? And then at night, we were sure to continue with our Life 9. And I love Detox Zyme, is the digestive enzyme. I felt like it was really helping with the cleanse even more. And then if you get hungry, you can, like if you feel your hunger more, even if you're following the snacks, the Sleek Gum and the Sleek Tea are both really good for that. I know Sherry's on the call too, and she helped me with the Ocotea under the tongue. Love that oil when you maybe feel really sleepy or the effects of a meal and you need, or like Amanda was saying, the anger kind of not in the mood kind of emotions that go with it. Okate can help balance that as well. So those are my tips. Just make sure you're ordering enough product. Don't be like me and have to be calling all your friends locally to see if they have Power Meal. I felt like I was like, hey man, I need some eggs, you know. I'm out of eggs and my chickens aren't laying. Like, I need some eggs. You've got some eggs? Come on, I need some eggs. But it was the Power Meal. And I finally found Stacy McQuaid had 2 bags for me. And she helped me to not have to stop the cleanse. That's the worst thing, is to get all ready and then go, oh, I ran out of product. Just make sure you have enough. Don't think that 1 bag is enough for you and your husband, because one of you is going to have to finish early. Okay, that's all I've got. I think I'm passing it back to Allie.
Hi. Okay, so I am on my last day today. So I have 2 more meals to go, have my breakfast. Let me tell you my experience so far. So I wrote down some notes because I'm trying to catch things that maybe haven't been caught before. But first of all, I just want to give kind of a preface of kind of where I am right now with myself, so that you know what results you might see. So I actually eat very clean. I'm like kind of obsessed with, I don't have lots of bad habits with foods. I'm pretty strict with my diet because I do have food sensitivities, and I just realized I feel better when I eat that way. So I'm going to set the picture here is that I didn't have a lot to cleanse. Okay. But I just wanted to, 1, try it before I recommended it to anyone, because I feel it's really important to know what you're recommending. And 2, I wanted like just a general reset. It's the first of the year. So this is where I am. First of all, I will say this has been very easy for me. I can't believe how easy it has been, especially because of the snacks. And I have needed the snacks. There's no way I could go without the snacks. So some of the things that I have been snacking on are raw cashews. I don't know why, they're just like, that is just really hitting the spot for me, is the raw cashews. In the evenings, the miso soup has been the best. I have it like at like a little bit later when I'm like, I'm kind of hungry. And I feel like I don't want to go to bed like a little hungry. I'm just going to have this, and I just sip on it. And I've really enjoyed that. I don't know if you guys have I know that we have people all over the world, but we have a natural grocer by us that has like an organic powdered miso soup, and I just put it in boiling water, and it was so easy for me to prep. So that was easy. That's great too. Like I've not done anything that requires any effort or work as far as food is concerned, and I would recommend that highly. If you live in a place that you have a Costco, at least right now, they have an organic no sugar added almond milk. And that was really helpful. They were in like boxes, and that was very easy for me. They also have coconut milk by the can, like the good coconut milk. And I did kind of experiment with myself, and both worked really well for me. And frozen berries I got there, raw cashews I got there. And then at Natural Grocer, back to Natural Grocer, they have a nut butter that is nothing but nuts. Like there's nothing else in it. Sea salt, I think, is in there. So that's been really good. Other things that I have experienced. So I've not had any cravings at all. I typically very much crave potato chips and dark chocolate. I was saying before the call started, like those are the things. And if I'm going to cheat on anything, it is like, I love the potato chips that are cooked in avocado oil. I'm obsessed with them. It is my guilty pleasure, as is like a really good dark chocolate. So I haven't had those cravings at all. I have been drinking sleek tea, but not every single day. So I don't think it's like a game changer. You have to have it. If you're in a country that you can't get it, I don't think it made a huge difference for me either way, but I did notice that I'm snacking less when I drink the sleek tea. So there is that. I've not had any detox symptoms at all, except the last 2 days, TMI, but things were a little bit loosey-goosey in the bathroom. So not like solid business going on, which is unusual for me. Like I normally I'm very regular. I eat, I go a little, it's not loose, but it has been loose this time. I'm not used to taking 3 digest and cleanse a day. And I think it's just maybe that my body already pushes things through pretty well. And the digest and cleanse is like overload, but I lost 5 pounds in the first 2 full days. So I'm totally fine with that because like 5 pounds is a lot on my frame. I'm only 5'2". I didn't have like a ton of weight I was trying to lose, but I was a little, as my mom says, fluffier than normal. I felt fluffier than I normally am. So I feel a lot less fluffy, which is great. And so the next 2 days I stayed right at that 5-pound weight loss. And I've been kind of staying there. So I just find it very interesting to read what that means for our bodies. Like maybe that's what I needed, and that's where I've stayed. I'm like within a couple of ounces each day since then. I have not cooked for my family at all. God bless my husband. He's taking care of that for me this week. They've done super easy meals. It's just like, it's kind of scavenge for yourself. So I love the tip from Amanda of maybe I should have done some prep for them ahead of time, would have been really smart of me. Okay, other things. Let's see. I have decided that I want to do this once a quarter now. I think it's very easy to manage. And so I think I want to do this with anyone who wants to, like, let's just get together the first of every quarter. Let's just do a 5-day of this, because I've just found it very easy. It's like given me time to focus on other things. I've also found that I've been very productive the last few days. I've just, that has been great. Let's see here. I think that I wish I'd taken measurements. I did not take measurements, and I'm kicking myself for that. But I do feel like my waist, especially, like there was like a little pudginess, fluffiness that I don't normally have that seems to be gone now. So I'm really, really impressed with that. So I think maybe we can kind of stop the recording unless does anyone else think that we need to record anything else before, and then we can take it offline for any questions.
I just think everybody should do it. And I think you should do it at least. I love quarterly. I think that's how come I've got so many in. I don't always do it quarterly, but just want to encourage you. Like, if you think it's too hard, it's gentle and easy. As far as 99% of the time, I've never had to run to a toilet. It can help so many things. It even helped my cycle. I mean, I just have had so many big successes with it. Just want to encourage you, buddy up with somebody, find your leader who's here, do it with people, and we'll do it together. And it will not, no matter what you're doing, it's going to be so much better than where you're at right now. And it's going to help you long-term, not store that stuff up. So just wanted to leave on that encouragement note.
I love that.
I'll add a couple of things too. Just being able to keep that gut flora up, you can add some unsweetened organic yogurt to your shake as well. And some of your snacks can be fermented foods like pickles, kimchi, things like that. So this cleanse was so yummy for us. We did not feel like we were really missing out. And like I said, we drove to Salt Lake. So there were 4 days in the car, and I had our snacks so that we didn't feel like we needed to, to have to stop and eat all the time. But the mindset part, it's like all of a sudden I'm ready. Like, okay, we can clean out all the cookies and all the cakes and pies and all the things that were left over from the holidays, throw it away without a guilty feeling, give it to the chickens, whatever you do, and then move forward with that new year healthy eating plan. That is the way we're supposed to be eating, right? It was just like, okay, this is the line in the sand. We're leaving all of the junk behind and we're moving forward. This cleanse helped us to do that and not have regret or feel guilty that we were being wasteful or whatever. We were just moving forward in a healthy plan.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording and then we'll go back and answer some questions.